Tony paced the lab, deep in thought. The restrained terrorists remained unconscious in the secure holding cells, unaware of what awaited them. It was time to take the next step. Human experiments. He wasn't doing this out of malice. He justified his actions as a step toward advancing humanity's medical frontiers and to save himself. Legion, prepare the biolab. We're diving into uncharted territory, Tony said, his voice firm. Lab prepared, sir, Legion responded. Chemical and biological containment systems are operational. Tony descended into the lower levels of his lab. Rows of containment units and medical equipment gleamed under the stark white lights. Samples of diseases, some of the most virulent and deadly pathogens known to man, were secured in reinforced cryogenic storage. Well, he stole them from a facility using his drones. These bastards dealt in death, he muttered, looking at the terrorists through the observation window. It's only fitting they contribute to life. He pulled up the medical history and vital signs of his 3 test subjects. 2 of them had strong constitutions, ideal for experimentation. The third, a scrawnier man, would be kept untouched, serving as a control for comparison. Let's begin, Tony said, putting on a protective suit. He picked up a vial containing a modified strain of the Ebola virus. The bio-nanites were designed to serve as a revolutionary cure, capable of identifying and neutralizing pathogens at a cellular level. But this was untested on humans. For this, he needed results. Day 1, the first injection. Tony approached Subject 1, a burly man who had likely spent his life building a tolerance to harsh conditions. The man stirred as he injected a cocktail of nanites and the modified Ebola strain into his bloodstream. Almost immediately, Tony observed the effects on his HUD. The virus began replicating rapidly, attacking cells in its usual aggressive manner. But the nanites responded in kind, targeting infected cells with precision. Legion, monitor all vitals. I want detailed logs on cellular activity, Tony instructed. Vitals stable for now, sir, Legion reported. Nanites are suppressing the infection. The subject groaned, his body convulsing as the virus and nanites waged war within him. Tony watched with clinical detachment, recording every detail. Day 3, enhanced strain. Subject 2 was next. Tony decided to push the experiment further by introducing a cocktail of diseases, tuberculosis, smallpox, and a synthetic strain of influenza, alongside the nanites. He wanted to see if the nanites could handle multiple infections simultaneously. Arg. Arg. Stop it. You fucking monster. My body is, burning, the subject screamed as his immune system was overwhelmed. The nanites worked tirelessly, neutralizing pathogens one by one. Tony adjusted the nanite programming mid-experiment, enhancing their efficiency. He didn't care about that bastard's screams. The response time is improving, he noted. Legion, increase the neural feedback loop to the nanites. Let's see if we can achieve faster adaptive responses. Feedback loop adjusted, Legion confirmed. Subject 2's vitals fluctuated wildly, but after hours of observation, they stabilized. The nanites had contained all the infections. Day 5, complications and discoveries. By now, Tony was starting to see the limitations of his creation. Subject 1 exhibited signs of organ stress, likely due to the prolonged battle between the nanites and the virus. Subject 2 developed a resistance to the nanites, with some pathogens mutating faster than the nanites could adapt. This is the problem with biology, he muttered, pacing the lab. It's chaotic. Unpredictable. But there has to be a way. He decided to alter the nanites' programming again, giving them the ability to rewrite genetic code. If the pathogens adapted, so would the nanites, but faster, with more precision. He even noticed how fast he was able to reprogram the nanites thanks to the boost from the Infinity Stone in his head. To test this, Tony injected Subject 1 with another pathogen, an aggressive strain of HIV. The nanites successfully identified and neutralized the virus, but the subject's body couldn't handle the stress. Organ failure set in, Tony sighed as the man flatlined. Noted, he said grimly. The human body has limits. He threw the dead guy into the incinerator. Day 7, unexpected success. Subject 2, however, showed remarkable resilience. The nanites adapted to the cocktail of diseases and began strengthening the subject's immune system. Tony observed that the man's vitals not only stabilized but improved beyond baseline levels. Fascinating, Tony said, leaning closer to the monitors. Legion, is the immune system now operating independently of the nanites? Confirmed, sir, Legion replied. The nanites have reprogrammed immune cells to respond with heightened efficiency. Subject 2 regained consciousness, his eyes wide with panic. Tony observed him silently, debating whether to reveal the truth. What did you do to me? The man rasped, his voice trembling. Tony crossed his arms. I made you better. Consider this your contribution to humanity. When my research is complete, people won't have to fear disease anymore. A cure, if you will, for the fragility of the human condition. You should be grateful that you are going to die for the betterment of your species, you son of a bitch. As the week drew to a close, Tony turned his attention to the third terrorist. This one hadn't been touched by the experiments yet. He was healthy and scared. What's your plan for me? The man asked, his voice shaky. I'm gonna put a tumor in your head and then operate. You see, I got this little tumor in my head which can't be removed. No doctor or technology exists at present that can help me. And I thought to myself, if it doesn't exist then I simply have to find a method or develop something to do the impossible. Maybe you would volunteer and become one of my experiments, Tony explained sarcastically. The world thanks you. What are you saying? The third man started shouting. You crazy bastard. You insane freak. Let me go. Ha! Says the one who killed countless innocents. Tony was tired of the endless babbling and felt annoyed. Drug dealings, human trafficking, organ trafficking, weapon smuggling, assassinations, money laundering. For one reason or another. You also sent attacks against important infrastructures such as schools, factories, and hospitals to undermine and destabilize whole economies just to sell or extort. So, yeah. I'm gonna be that crazy insane freak who will cut you open for the sake of progress. He casually began drawing up plans and setting his machines to work. I don't believe you. Me neither. Tony didn't look at the third guy and was distracted by the massive amount of information he was reading, drawing, and writing down. But here we are, unfortunately. Do you think the third world or fourth world countries are getting aid, vaccines, or medical care? And yes, they exist and it's horrible, he exclaimed. For years I was content that my father had supported the technological side, but did nothing to solve the world hunger, poverty, and lack of infrastructure. His resources could have helped many more people than were benefited. But politics and fuckers like you stopping him at every step. Tony muttered darkly while drawing schematics. But not me. When I'm done here, no one will be able to stop the progress. Fuck politicians, fuck governments, fuck corrupted bastards like you. I will remove anyone who stands in the way of humanity's evolution. Day 20, progress amid chaos. Holograms floated around Tony, depicting complex molecular structures, genetic sequences, and real-time results of the experiments. Thanks to Subject 2's resilience, Tony had achieved a breakthrough. The nanites had evolved beyond just fighting diseases. They had created a blueprint for human augmentation, a roadmap to a new phase of humanity. Legion, Tony said, studying the data from Subject 2. Cross-reference these immune responses with known pathogens. Identify the patterns that allow the immune system to operate autonomously after nanite intervention. Processing, sir, Legion replied. A moment later, the AI provided its findings. The nanites have successfully rewired T cells and B cells to operate with heightened adaptability and response times. Additionally, they've integrated synthetic pathways to produce antiviral compounds and enhanced cytokine production. He smirked. They're making their own cures now. Fascinating. With this data, Tony synthesized a formula, Aegis serum. This serum, derived from the nanite-influenced immune cells of Subject 2, was designed to enhance the human body's natural healing capabilities. It could cure chronic illnesses, repair damaged organs, and eliminate diseases at a cellular level. In theory, with a little tweak, it could even reverse aging. This is it, Tony muttered. The next step. Not just curing diseases but rebuilding humanity at its core. Fuck. I'm a genius. Ha ha ha. Only 20 days and this is the result. Time to take the next step. Let's push the limit to the next level, shall we? Ring. Ring. A sudden call took his attention away. He took out his phone. It was from Natasha. Tony frowned. He barely gave out this number. He checked the caller ID. Natasha. He sighed, answering the call after walking out of the lab. Hey, he said, keeping his voice neutral. Tony? Natasha's voice carried concern. You alive over there? He smirked. Last I checked. Well, you haven't called, texted, or dropped by. It's been almost 3 weeks. I was worried. You are good, right? She asked, concerned. Tony knew that Natasha was just curious and faking it all but still found it amusing that she still acted the same. It was nice to talk to someone and have a normal conversation for a change. You know me, always busy working on new things and tinkering with my stuff. Makes sense. What have you been up to? Found something interesting? Natasha asked. Nope. Nothing interesting, he lied, trying to avoid the topic. And it's nice to see someone worried about me. Thanks, Nat. I'll swing by at lunchtime tomorrow, okay? Sure, sounds like a plan. Anything special you want to eat, boss? She teased. He laughed. No. Just make me something spicy. She snickered. Okay. I'll do that. Have a great night, Tony. Night, Natasha, he said, hanging up. Arg. Tony grabbed his head as he stumbled back. He somehow managed to balance himself and sat down on the floor. The pain this time was more intense than the last one. He groaned, feeling like his head was splitting open. His vision blurred. He reached for the pill bottle in his pocket and took out the pills, but before he could reach his mouth, a sharp jolt of pain hit him like a freight train. He clenched his teeth, dropping the pills to the ground as his body tensed. He felt his consciousness slipping away and struggled to stay awake. No. No. Not now. He tried to think of anything to stay awake. Boss, do you need help? Hermes' voice came like a distant whisper. Tony didn't respond. His mind was too focused on the pain. The agony. Fuck. He grunted through clenched teeth. His body trembled uncontrollably as he tried to force his way through the pain. After what seemed like an eternity, his eyes closed, and everything went dark. In the darkness, Tony found himself standing alone on a watery surface. He looked around in confusion. There was nothing around him but a vast sea of water. He took a couple of steps forward, splashing the water with his feet. Where the hell am I? He asked aloud. Hello. A child's voice came from behind. Startled, Tony quickly turned around and saw a young boy standing before him. He was dressed in simple brown pants, a white shirt, and a brown vest. His hair was messy, but he had a warm smile on his face. Who are you? Tony asked warily. You are one interesting individual, aren't you? The boy replied with a chuckle. I mean, you know who I am, yet you're still asking questions. Tony frowned. What are you talking about? Do you really not know who I am? Are you really that ignorant? The boy questioned. Well, it doesn't matter. I guess you'll find out eventually. Tony furrowed his brows in confusion. He had an idea of who the boy was. It couldn't be, but... Are you? Yep. That's right, Tony. The boy nodded. I'm the one. The infinity gem, incurable tumor, and whatever else you call me. Since you know everything, why don't you tell me the way to remove you from my head? Tony asked. Know everything about you? Well, that's how it was supposed to happen, and you weren't supposed to know about my existence, yet for some reason, your actions so far told me that you already know the future. You have two memories for some reason. I tried to look into that other part, but a higher power stopped me from doing so, the boy explained. So, I won't probe into that matter. I ask again, tell me the way to remove you, Tony asked. Do you want to remove me? The boy questioned back. Why do you want to get rid of me? Right now, you are the most intelligent human alive on this planet, and soon enough, you will be able to surpass every other living being in the universe or even the multiverse. I can also give you power over technology. So, why do you want to get rid of me? What could be more scary than having an infinity gem of all the things inside one's head? And as you said, I already know about you, so I know the risks. The pain is almost unbearable. I am losing my sanity and emotions. And if someone discovers that it's in my head, they won't stop until they have it, Tony answered. Good point. Pain and losing your emotions and sanity. I agree, the boy said with a grim expression that he flicked his fingers and the dark world around them changed. Around them played the scene of what happened for the last 20 days. The inhumane experiments Tony performed on those terrorists and his breakthrough with Aegis serum. A lot of things happened, huh? The boy said as he watched the memories. Tony touched the side of his head. He doesn't remember everything that he did in his lab, only snippets and the result of success. A thought came to his mind, what am I doing? What have I done? Am I becoming the very things I despise? Ah. You finally realized, huh? The boy sighed. Well, you're not completely wrong. I mean, you've killed people and experimented on them. And yes, it's a horrible thing to do, but the results are good. Besides, they are bad guys, right? So, what if you mutilated them, experimented on them, or even killed them? They did far worse things than that. It's only fair, they pay for their sins, right? The end result is all that matters, right? The more important question is, what are you going to do now? I shouldn't have killed Reed without knowing if he's the bad guy or not. I could have changed Victor's fate. I could have at least tried, yet I messed up his life. That serum. I could have created that without human experiments. I know I could have. Tony exclaimed in frustration. Fuck. I just wanted an excuse. An excuse to test my medical knowledge on humans. The superintelligence. It's messing up my ability to make rational decisions. I should have taken steps to control myself, yet I didn't. Well, at least you still have some control over your mind to see where you went wrong and what you should do in the future, the boy said. Don't become the monster you despise. There's still time. You can control my power. All you have to do is focus and hold your urges to abuse that power. You can achieve everything, but you have to keep your sanity, or else you will fall into a deep pit like Reed would have fallen. Tony frowned as he listened to the boy's words. Wait. Reed. So that's the reason you manifested in the first place, right? Correct. We are the existence in charge of maintaining the balance of this reality and universe. Whenever a threat, capable of breaking the balance, arises, we manifest in various forms to counter that threat. However, with Reed dead, this reality's future has shifted drastically. Even we gems cannot predict the upcoming threats anymore. Thus manifesting like before is not possible anymore. And that, my host, you should be afraid of. An unknown future where anything could happen. Your actions from here on out will determine the outcome of the future. Tony thought for a moment before responding. So, an uncertain future. Huh. I guess it's better than living my life based on someone else's decisions. And stop trying to shift the conversation. If you cannot tell me the process to remove you from my head, you can at least give me something to stop the pain and fix my messed up sanity. I am a part of you. Without me you won't survive, just like how you can't survive without air, heart, lungs, brain, or any other important body parts. But I can understand your pain. As days go by my power increases and your mortal body cannot withstand my vast energy. You need to evolve. You already know how, but still, I'll give you a clue, cosmic rays, the boy explained. Evolve your body so that my power can completely fuse with you. Then, the pain and this voice will be gone, and your emotions, sanity. Everything will be fixed. Cosmic rays? Tony thought about it for a while and nodded. I see. That makes sense. So, I want to ask you one final question. Are you real, a manifestation of the gem, or just a hallucination in my head? Ha ha ha. What if I said that I was neither a hallucination nor a real entity? What if I said that you are imagining me all by yourself and you are talking to yourself? Ha ha ha. I guess only you can answer that question, my host. Farewell. We'll talk again, the boy laughed, his voice echoing around. The watery ground beneath Tony shifted and he fell down into the dark abyss. The next moment, he regained consciousness. Boss, are you okay? Hermes asked. Tony felt the pain disappear and his body felt energetic. It was like he had a good night's sleep. His mind was clear. He looked at his phone and realized that not even 10 seconds had passed. But it doesn't matter now. He knows what he has to do. I'm fine. Get me a coffee, Tony replied. That he got up from the floor and picked up the pills. After putting them into his pocket, he looked back at the two alive terrorists. HAA. What the fuck should I do with them? This story continues. Subscribe to the channel for the remaining episodes. Thank you for watching and liking the channel.